There we are.
Lisa, ciao.
Hi. Can I have a ride, please?
Jump in.
Oh, I like this. This is wonderful. Woo! Look at you. Makes me so happy. Haha. Yeah.
Lisa,
Woo!
welcome to dopeYEAH.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here. Look at this. You can just feel how good it feels, huh?
Lisaramey is a singer-songwriter and performer based in New York City. Originally from St. Louis, Missouri, she had a strict Christian upbringing and was homeschooled. Her faith had a major influence on her early musical tastes. One of her early influences was the Christian band DC Talk. However, she developed a love for rock and soul music, citing influences like Tina Turner and Aerosmith. Lisa, for a time, worked in musical theatre with the show Cirque du Soleil, but ultimately decided to focus on her solo recording career. She was a contestant on The Voice USA, which was a positive experience overall despite the challenges of the show's format and schedule. It culminated with her duetting with John Legend. We discussed the difficulties of being a black artist in the music industry and the racial dynamics of growing up in the more conservative state of Missouri. At the end of the podcast, Lisa very kindly performed a version of her song Open Wide from her album Surrender. Lisaramey. Welcome to dopeYEAH.
Ooh, dopeYEAH. Very excited to be here. Do I go here?
That's my chair. That's my chair.
Fine.
You're on this one.
I'll take this one. Perfect. Oh, very nice.
So I'll just introduce you, if that's all right.
Please.
So Lisaramey is our guest today at dopeYEAH. Lisa is a singer, songwriter, performer, actress based in New York City. Lisa grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, where her career started. After fronting the funk band Sugarbad, Lisa toured the world as the featured soul singer for Cirque du Soleil's Cosa. Lisa was a contestant in The Voice USA, where she got to duet with John Legend. In 2020, Lisa released her solo album, Surrender. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
How you doing?
Sounds good. Thanks.
You've been here before, haven't you?
I have. I've been here before. I was here last year.
And how was that?
I was in Karlovy Vary to see the film festival. And then I was like, whoa, we should probably go to Prague and kind of see what's going on there. And through some friends that I met, new friends in Karlovy Vary, they were like, oh my gosh, we're going to surprise you with the most incredible surprise. So it's kind of nervous because I'm like, I don't know who these guys are. It's kind of weird. And I just get in a car and no one's speaking English to me. And we drive to this place. And I'm thinking, like, this is it. This is how I die.
You're going to end up in a shallow grave in a field somewhere.
I'm telling you, because it was like nighttime too. But we walk in, and this is such an incredible place. All the things that are here, all the instruments, the people. The people are amazing. And this room specifically was the biggest surprise because it took me forever to get through this whole place because I'm such a nerd about music. But Peter, who runs it, Peter's standing outside, and he's like, what do you think this is? What do you think this is? I said, it looks like a horrible garage. And then we open it, and it's a studio. This is unbelievable performance stage, and so many epic people have played here, so I love it.
Yeah, it has a bit of magic to it. It's a magical place. But,
it's magic.
But like I've said before, it's a brilliant place, but it's really the people that make it because they're also fab here, and you always have a brilliant time. And it is all about the music and the love of music. And Peter, who created the whole concept, he's just a brilliant guy. He puts his money where his mouth is, and it's into music and culture, and so you come out here and that you just embrace that, and it's just so much fun. Besides all the other good stuff,
you feel like family. They make you feel like family.
And he played at the Metronome Festival in Prague last night. Nick Cave.
Yes, Nick Cave. That was amazing. Like, how many people were there? Like, that was so awesome to see everybody come out. And it's been a long time since I've gone to a festival because of that good old COVID. So it felt so good to see him and the backup singer dancers. Like, it was just this whole production. It was so much fun. I loved it. And then I got to sing.
You were fabulous, by the way.
Thank you. And I got to sing with the band who plays here, the 333. So that was awesome that they asked me to come and play. And of course, that's Peter drumming away behind me. So yeah, it really can't get better.
So just kind of going back a little bit, trying to get a bit more sort of your story. So you grew up small town before, obviously St. Louis isn't a small, it's not a city, it's a small
big
city. Sorry?
Big little city.
Big little city, yeah. So that was the beginning, and you were, I think I read you were homeschooled.
Yes,
so
homeschooled the whole time, K through 12. It is interesting. It was an interesting choice. My mom wanted to do it when we were, I have a older brother and older sister, and we were like, cool, I guess, but you get older and you get into the teenage years and you're like, I kind of want to like meet boys who aren't my brother. It would make sense. So it was kind of weird for a little bit, but what mama says, mama says. But I can tell you, I am so happy as an adult that I homeschooled, because when you're homeschooled, you're surrounded by lots of adults. And so you kind of start to, you're able to communicate with them, and people who are your age are like, I'm kind of above you guys. I should be like hanging with the adults. And that helps ground you, it makes you smarter. So now in my line of work, I can look back and say like, oh, I'm happy that I was homeschooled. Like I can think for myself, you know?
So that your parents, did they have an issue with the system? What was the
where we grew up, my mom, she's a big old Christian, and she just knew that it would be better if she was the one who was guiding us instead of any other system out there.
Makes sense, I suppose. And was that difficult? Was not having kind of friends all the time, school friends?
It wouldn't be, because you're not exposed to it. So
right.
I had lots of friends who were homeschooled. I had a homeschool graduation that everyone makes fun of, North County Christians. We meet people, our parents will put us out there, but it's with other homeschoolers. And there's a lot of us out there. And everything is just education, education, education. But you're having fun and you're always learning. And also when you're homeschooled and your parents work for an airline, you get to go to the 13 colonies to learn about the 13 colonies. You get to travel places. So it's not weird, because you're never thinking like, oh, I'm not like other kids, because you don't see those kids.
Right.
But then sometimes you join the Muni, which is America's largest outdoor theater, and then you have all these kids from all over the place, and then that's when we were like, I kind of like how they do things. I kind of like how they're getting into trouble. I'm gonna hang with them. So then you kind of get to go your own way.
So did you sing in the church? If your mum was a Christian, obviously. Did you go to church every Sunday and sing in the choir?
Not the church that you're thinking, but yes, I did play. I shouldn't say this out loud. I was a kid, so when I was younger, I played the piano on stage, but I don't like to do that now. But I played the piano, but we didn't have like a church choir. We actually changed churches a lot. But more like they were just playing the guitars and like actual rhythm section. Might be why I love rock. But it wasn't like the big choir and all that stuff.
So what was the first track you heard, especially, say, rock and roll track that sort of changed everything?
Oh, DC Talk. Do you know who DC Talk is?
No, I don't.
Yo, DC Talk, they could play here. It would be amazing. They're a Christian band. It's like 3 dudes, and one of them raps and the other 2 sing, and it was the first concert I ever went to, and I fell in love with the guitar. It was amazing. And then I went a completely different route, and it's really strange how life does that to you, but it came as a surprise to me that I love rock and want to do that, rock soul. But it's like what I was doing so much of what I loved when I was a kid.
So rock soul, so who are your rock singer heroes?
Tina Turner. I love Tina. I know I should have like more, but I really just am
she's
obsessed
from
with Tina.
St. Louis, isn't she? St. Louis.
Yeah, she became Tina in St. Louis. I mean, she's not a rock star, but in my mind she is, which is Beyoncé.
Oh, she's a rock star.
She's the queen of entertainment. She can do it all. So, and I think she's a rock star. So I really like her. Aerosmith, I'm obsessed.
Steven Tyler.
I love him so much. I wish that he didn't do that, tie the scarf on the mic, because I would love to do that. I just love that he just doesn't care. He just gets out there and just is him. And that to me is the epitome of rock and roll. Just does his thing.
Because I kind of hear it in your voice. And well, I've always said anyway that gospel music and rock music are very closely related.
Yeah.
In the sense of the full frontal delivery, you know, that full voice delivery. Whereas in a lot of pop now, there's the falsetto and people are using that, you know,
whereas like the full voice is not used so much.
Right.
So that's why I've always thought rock was very similar to gospel in its honest, full-throated, full voice, you know, hitting that third gear. And, you know, obviously Aretha, the queen of all music in my view, probably you know, the greatest singer that ever lived.
Yeah.
But I always loved that as a rock singer, as I was a rock singer once upon a time as well. And I love that sort of delivery, that honest delivery. And I hear that in your voice. And then also because you got into the theatre as well, didn't you? Where that's that really helps, that kind of capacity to deliver.
It's, you know, it's crazy because, yes, so I couldn't be more comfortable. Like, I'm never nervous. I'm just like, oh, I belong up there. It's like all fun. But I will say that it's, unless you're doing rock, even with a powerful voice, it's very limiting to be able to use my voice. Like when I went to the circus, they want a specific sound. So I had to, you know, recreate my sound for that. When you record pop music, you have to recreate your sound to sound like a robot, which is super hard for me. So I didn't really have a home until I got to this rock soul genre where I'm able to just sing and no one's going, can you just do a straight tone and then do a vibrato and then like cut that off? I believe it was John Legend was the first person to say, I love your vibrato, just do that. Just be you, just don't mess up, don't do anything else, just like sing. The best advice I ever got, just be you, just sing.
So the Broadway roots, you tried that as well, didn't you? You had a Italian
Listen, I was on my way. I mean, I'm in print on Broadway. They can't get enough of me now. But yeah, I did, when I was a kid, I started, I think my first role was an ant in Pennsylvania. And I did that as a kid. And then I went into the dance world. Actually, dance came first, and then I went to musical theater. And I was on my way to Broadway. And then I got to New York, and they were like, no. I did a big national tour. The first Broadway national tour of Irving Berlin's White Christmas is a mouthful. So I got to do that, but then I couldn't believe it because I started the show. Like, I basically workshopped the show. Like, my brother, I think, was even in it. We workshopped it in St. Louis and wrote it to the national tour. And then when it came to go on Broadway, they went with a name, even in the chorus. They just picked the chorus who had already been on Broadway. So I was like, that hurt.
Yeah, that was
So I guess that's weird. So in this business, in that moment, I was like, well, what kind of pain do I want to take and work my way through? And it wasn't going to be Broadway.
So you turned your back on Broadway?
Yeah, very easily. I was like, no, I don't want to do this.
Because your voice does lend itself to that power that you need, as I said earlier on.
And you can't do it in Broadway unless you have like the main part, which is never going to be me. So I can do it. So I just was like, I'm going to go this other route where people can accept me. Even if I have to go all the way to Prague, I know that I should be at the front doing this.
So you don't think things have changed in New York in that respect then, and sort of how,
no,
who are getting the roles? And
no, actually, it has changed because my friend just won a Tony for Strange Loop, and that's all black, like everyone black. Now, I will say that my voice, there's not very many roles for a black girl with my voice at the time when I was doing it, but Broadway was calling me when they went their rock route, and then they were just like, oh my gosh, everything's about rock now, and you're like perfect for it. But they were too late. I've snubbing them.
So the Cirque du Soleil thing, was that hard work when you went on that tour?
I got that gig. It was so random. There's like so many people who want that gig. Like the line wraps around Earth a few times. There are files of singers. I play a lot of gigs in New York, so I've met a lot of musicians, and I love drummers. So a drummer says to another drummer somewhere on Earth, oh, we know this girl, Lisa, in New York, and she's great. She sings in wedding bands, and she's like quick to learn. You should hire her. So Cirque du Soleil called me, and I almost hung up on them because the accent was so thick. I was like, I don't know, just hung up the phone, and they called me back like, this is Cirque du Soleil. We want you to audition. And for my audition, I couldn't get the cameras to work, so I was like sitting down. It really looked like I didn't care, but I really wanted it. So I didn't get the offer at first because they didn't see that I wanted it, which makes sense. But then their singer, who they had, just left the show. So they really needed some help, and I love getting gigs like that because everyone else is afraid to jump in, but I'm first to jump in and save the day. So hire me to save the day, then everybody loves me. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. So I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I was just like, the circus. So I've never been to the circus. I'd never seen a Cirque du Soleil show. So imagine my surprise when I'm standing there singing on stage and there's like people flying and I'm terrified that they're all gonna get hurt. So for about 6 months I was like closing my eyes. They have this wheel of death situation and it's crazy because you party with these people and they become your friends and then they go defy death. And I did it for a year and a half and I was like, I can't do this anymore. But it was crazy. There's a lot of things that you have to learn. You have to do everything. Every time I sing, there's someone doing something. If they change what they're doing, we have to figure it out and just be on with them. So it's like a lot of work, but it was one of the best times of my life.
So you were touring around?
I got to go to, and it also brought me to Australia.
Australia.
I went to Down Under, where they say keen a lot, and they call McDonald's Macca's. I went there and saw the bugs, but I got to go to Sydney. I got to go to Melbourne. I got to go to Brisbane, and Perth. And surprisingly, Perth is my favorite. From there, that took a year. We wrapped, and then we went to Singapore. So then I was there for a little bit, spent all my money, and then I quit the show.
So you didn't get the bug for that kind of world? You get onto another show and continue that route?
It was, I believe I cried in my room by myself because I couldn't believe I was leaving. The head of Cirque du Soleil even said to me, you're not leaving the show. And I'm like, I shouldn't, should I? I think it's the perfect gig for me if I was settled and I wasn't waking up needing more. It's a great gig. They take care of you. They take care of your family in between shows. They pay for you to travel anywhere you want to. Like, it's a great gig. But it's not called Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah,
so I have no business being in there.
I don't want to labor the point too much, but as I said, I do think that's, obviously there's underlying reasons why, you left that particular part of your career, which aren't musical. It's because obviously, is it fair to say you still love that format, like musicals and musical theatre? Is that something that excites you?
I could say I like the format. I could agree with that. I'm super bitter about it because I still look at it like, you should have let me do it. And I'm like proving literally all over the world, like, I told you should have let me do it. And it's working. So let me get over that. Let me get over that part. But
do you think you might go back to it then, maybe at some other point in your career?
Depends on how much they pay me.
Fair enough. So now, you've decided to focus your career on recording, being a recording artist.
I like the freedom.
And the control,
The
obviously.
control. Well, as much as I can control, but the freedom to be able to, even in the circus, they allowed me to just sing whatever I wanted, just like make sure it's in the right timing and like whatever. But that is what matters most to me. From when I was younger all the way up into the circus, it's how you're supposed to sing and do it like this, and then you rise to the occasion and you do it. But who are you?
Sure.
I'm just doing what everyone tells me to do. So how do I stand alone? So in the circus, I figured out how to stand alone, and then I felt on top of the world. I'm like, let me go for everything.
Right. So when you were back at home in St. Louis, your mum and dad, what were they listening to? Did that influence you?
Motown, baby.
Okay.
Motown, all the time. It was on actual vinyl, like the goods, and musicals. We had some rock musicals, I think. Yeah.
Like what in particular?
What was that?
Like Hair, maybe?
Jesus Christ Superstar. We had Jesus Christ Superstar. I remember listening to that when I was very, very young. And I loved that too. I'm learning more about myself. Yeah, but all Motown. Stevie, like everybody.
Well,
Earth, Wind, and Fire was a big one.
Love Earth, Wind, and Fire. Because, Chris Jagger, who we were hanging out with last night, he was in Hair.
He did Hair?
He did Hair. He did it in Tel Aviv. Yeah, hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he naked on stage?
I didn't ask him that. I should have asked him. But because he's had a bit of a dalliance in that world as well, being an actor as well. But,
well, if I was asked to do Hair, I did it once at like the YMCA or something, but I would do something like that, like a short run. I would do something like that on Broadway, maybe.
So your acting has mainly been in musicals rather than in films.
Yeah. I wouldn't consider myself an actress. I would consider myself an actor in a musical, so there has to be music happening for me to show emotion.
So, and who are you writing with at the moment, song-wise?
Well, it's a good question. I'm figuring it out. I'm in the studio right now by myself, and I'm adding producers. I'm back in St. Louis recording my next album, and I went back home to do it, and so I'm reaching for producers around St. Louis, and then we'll definitely call my friends in New York and kind of have an all-skate, have everybody together.
Because just going back again to sort of the moving to New York, I mean, was that a culture shock when you got there?
Perfect, yes, culture shock. There's a picture of me standing in an apartment with my finger just going like this, because I'm just so over the walking. Because in the Midwest, we don't do that walking. We got cars, honey. But they just walk and like quickly, and you're in everyone's way. I'll never forget the first time that I had to order. I didn't have to, but I was hungry and it was morning. And I'm rushing to go to audition. I'm like, oh, let me just grab a bagel. Oh, there's a bagel shop. And it's like very packed. And it's like when everybody is on their way to work. And that's when I'm like, I'm gonna get a bagel, my first bagel. And I walk in and the guy behind the counter just looks at me and says, what? And I was like, what do you mean, what? Like, I just got here. And then the line just kept moving, and that was the end of my chance to order. And so I just walked out, didn't get that bagel. It's like, I guess I won't eat here. It was terrifying.
Yeah, they could be quite blunt and rude, but I mean, the energy, I mean, I love New York, but...
It's just fast.
And not
it's
so much
really
now,
fast.
as I was there a lot in the 80s, and it was a different experience.
Well, that's completely different.
Although it was more dangerous, but it was more exciting.
I feel like there's a lot of people saying it's getting back to that after COVID.
Yeah,
So you can go back.
Yeah, I remember the first time I got to New York. It was, I don't know if it was happening when you were there, but I had a friend of mine, actually, who's from Chicago, a bass player, and amazing bass player, Derek Short is his name, and he was my first kind of mate in New York, and we used to hang out down in Delancey Street. He lived on Delancey Street. And we were walking through the street one day, and along the street, and you know, people used to sell stuff on the ground. They would just sell anything like magazines, and I remember him saying to me, he's like, "Hey man, you know I'll send you any shit here." And I'm like, "Really?" And then this guy just walks in front of us, opens up his coat, and he says, "Do you want to buy a baby alligator?" And he had a baby alligator in a little plastic box, and then my friend just went, "I rest my case."
It makes sense. My friend bought some bunnies off the street just a few weeks ago.
A baby alligator.
Don't know how they got the alligator. That's kind of weird. In his pocket?
In the sewers, probably. You know,
bleeding
you're supposed
everywhere?
to have alligators in the sewers, right?
Exactly,
That's
right?
the myth, isn't
With
it?
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They all
Yeah,
hang.
exactly. But it was a lot of fun, and it was, you know, kind of, and I've been back many times since, and I lived there for a while. But yeah, when I go back now, it's like Disney World. It's especially Manhattan, you know.
Yeah.
It's just not what all the guitar shops are closed. For instance, Manny's is closed.
For sure.
That street off,
For sure.
you know, off Times Square where they used to have all the guitar shops. They're all gone
we can
now.
just like hang out and sit there. It's like a camping
Yeah.
station for homeless people, which is nice for them. But that's pretty much all that's happening there, and a lot of tourists. A whole lot of tourists. But it is like Disneyland. Like, I didn't feel unsafe in New York while I was living there. I felt way more unsafe, like in parts of St. Louis. So I was like, this is nothing. I can handle St. Louis. This is simple.
So, I mean, obviously, you've been through, you know, the tough parts of the industry, because you were in The Voice as well, and all the shenanigans that come with that.
Yeah, that was a very interesting situation right there.
Tell us more about how that was and the whole kind of experience.
Ooh, how much time you got? Let's see. The whole experience, First, I'll start by saying I am so happy I did it, and I would do it again. I think in order to be successful on The Voice is to not try to win The Voice.
Right.
Is to meet as many people as you can and make connections, because you're surrounded by, you're at Universal Studios filming. Leonardo DiCaprio was across the street filming something with all those big names. Like, they're just like right there. So you're thinking, I need to like meet people. I need to like make these connections so that I can call people when this show's over. Who knows when I'll get kicked off? So I started doing that, and I was able to make really good friends with the head of costumes. So I looked great every time I was on the show. And kind of letting everyone stay in their lanes. A lot of kids, deservedly so, because they're kids and they went from singing in their bedrooms to singing in front of over 10 million people. So they start thinking things like, well, I need to wear this shirt. I know it's my best color, and I'm going to do my own makeup. And I'm sitting over here like, it's a horrible idea. You need to let these people do their jobs. They work at Universal Studio.
Yeah.
Where do you live? What do you do? But they just don't know better. So like, I knew better. I was able to just like go in there, have the time of my life, and keep advancing, which like, there's no script. You really don't know what's going on in that show. They're telling you one thing, you want to believe that, and then you get off the show, or they're telling you something else, and you're like, I think I'm leaving, and then you make it all the way in the show. Like, it's crazy on your psyche. So if you just let that go and just be a part of the experience of meeting people, that's how you win the show. So everyone says, like, how was your time on The Voice? I was like, well, I won The Voice.
Right.
Because of all the connections. John Legend called me to perform at Madison Square Garden. So then The Voice, there's a lot of opportunities for people who make teams in their hometowns to perform on stage. But you don't really always get Madison Square Garden. So it was an honor that he let me come up there and sing a song. And I barely even let him sing. I took his stage.
So it was basically a positive experience for you, all in all, you would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're looking back.
It's hard. They make you sing. You know, you got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry, 3 o'clock in the morning to make it to set by 4 to sit and wait till you do your makeup. But like, you're getting your makeup done in glam at Universal Studio. I'm not gonna be like, I should be sleeping in New York and waking up soon to go work as a bartender. You know what I mean? Like, this is cool. So I was really into the experience. I love getting my makeup done. I love not doing my makeup. I love being treated like that. And so I was really into it. But I mean, no one wants to wake up at 3 a.m. and then sing on camera at like 6. Sure. But that's the job, and I signed up for it. Because
it's like America's Got Talent. I've spoken to people who've been on that show, and it's been a very negative experience in the sense that, you know, even contractually, the things they get you to sign, that they own you for the next...
You have to pay attention to what you sign.
200 years, and et cetera, et cetera. And also the fact that, you know, they bring in people, let's be honest, to mock, you know, who aren't very good, and they know they're not very good, and they bring them in. I don't think that was the ethos, really, at The Voice. Would you say that's fair? It was a little bit more considerate in how they treated artists?
So when I was getting called by a few shows, and I was watching them, and I chose The Voice because I knew it was going to be the safest one for me to do, because they don't exploit you being horrible. They really want to show you as your best. So I went with that, and I didn't want to be made fun of. I didn't want to boo someone else for trying, you know. I just wanted to sing, and that's the best experience. And people who have done other shows have all said The Voice is the best experience. They're really nice to us.
Yeah, because the other ones, obviously in the UK, they've had lots of them, and it really got terrible at one point where there was so many young kids, disillusioned kids.
They just don't know better.
And they don't know any better, and nearly, dare I say, with mental health issues, you know, going on that show, and they see them coming. And to me, that's pretty cruel, and cruel is a terrible thing.
Well, what they see coming is a great way to sell a show. And you don't know what someone's brain is. And like, these kids, they really think they're gonna win and their life is gonna change. And they don't know what to do when they don't win, but there's only one winner. Now, they explain these things to us. They sit us all down and they talk to us. They have counselors, they've got therapists. We do tests to make sure, like, they really do work hard. I can only speak for The Voice, to make sure we're okay. But nothing can prep you for the drop.
Right.
And that's when because they call you all the time. It's like so annoying. People would always ask me, what's your schedule today? I say, I don't care, because they're gonna text me in 2 seconds and ask me where I am for another half hour. Because they're constantly calling you, and then it just stops. And it's completely over. So it took me, and I've been dealing with the drop for a long time, but it's a big drop. And it took me at least 4 days of just like being on the couch, eating lots and lots of pizza. And I told everybody just to leave me alone, because I needed to just be alone and let my brain really understand what it just went through. Because I did 2 back-to-back seasons of The Voice. And it's crazy, like, and you can't talk about it to anybody. You're signing all these contracts. It's a lot you have to deal with. But for me, it was like, oh, okay, I'll be fine. Because it's like the show's over, and then I'll be able to figure out what to do next. But with a lot of kids and a lot of adults, when that drop happens, and then the show is so popular, so everyone is like, oh, what are you doing since The Voice? Or do you still talk to the coaches? No, the coaches do not sit around and call the contestants of The Voice. They're busy being amazing. So you're constantly reminded of what you lost. And I try to reach out to a lot of the contestants in the show, but because I've been around the block and I knew what I was doing, and my trajectory is up, my momentum is strong, no one want to talk to me, which I also understand, and I hope they eventually will. But it's hard, and you're surrounded by people who aren't in the business whenever you go back home. So you feel like a failure, and there's nobody there that you can really talk to. But they do it while you're in Universal Studio. You can't even leave the lot without speaking to a therapist before you leave.
Because it is a kind of whimsical and fickle business.
It looks good, it feels good, and then it just goes away. Exactly.
You know?
And then change your focus. There's only one winner, so maybe you're not there to win. Maybe you're just there to learn something, because there's a lot to learn. I learned how to sing on a stage where I couldn't see really the ground. I thought I was in a void. There's a part that was definitely on television where I was like, help. I just looked out and just said help because I couldn't get off the stage because I couldn't see it. I'm like, well, I'm not going to fall on national television. But in those moments, you're just like, well, I'm stuck on stage. Can they see me? Where are the camera people? You freak out. And there's like other contestants being like, just walk. But you're just blinded by everything that's happening and you lose yourself. So like those are real things. I remember going down stage to sing and my ear, you know, like when you're underwater and it's like, beep, it just starts doing that.
Tinnitus, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, not a good time. This is not a good time. So I have to sing with this like pitch just in my ear. I get through it, but it's louder when I finish. And one of the coaches, Adam Levine, he had changed his hair to my hair. He had a mohawk. And he had this adorable moment with me for saying he stole my look, but I couldn't hear him. So the crowd laughed, everybody laughed, and I just stood there like, I think he's talking to me. So it's like those things happen and you're like really scared because there's a lot of people watching that, but then you realize, no, I can get through that too. It's all really easy.
Well, you didn't, I mean, when you said 4, I thought you were going to say 4 months rather than 4 days. Because I mean, all that attention during that period and then it stops. And
you also have to think of the people who don't get the attention that the crowds think are getting the attention. You know, it's not, it's very different. So your brain really works a lot. Your heart handles a lot. It's a lot of people telling you what you want to hear instead of what is the truth, you know, their version of the truth. But it only took me 4 days, but I've been doing it for a very long time.
I suppose the good thing about being a musician is that you can decide then to make a record and, you know, write a record, whereas it's a lot more difficult if you're an actor and, you know, you're not working. It's very difficult to make your own movie, you know, finance your own movie. It's produce your own movie. That's a big, you know, I think so for actors, especially in New York, obviously a lot of your friends are probably in the acting world as well. It's a very tough, that's even tougher.
It's like, what do you do with the feeling? Therapy is great, but not everyone goes to that. But therapy is wonderful, and because your friends can't help you. This kind of entertainment stuff, I don't even know if I can help. If you're really like me, then maybe I could really help you. But like, it has to be your own personal journey because you take a lot of punches and you just have to get right back up and go.
So obviously you duetted in the end with John Legend, didn't you? That must have been fun.
You know why? It was amazing because I didn't get to on the show because I got cut right before they did the duet. So the whole time, that broke me. I just wanted to be able to sing with him. That's it. And then I didn't get it, but then he called me to come sing with him. And I would rather have sang with him at Madison Square Garden by him calling me than on The Voice.
And can you still call him now? Would he take your call? Yeah, he's still cool.
He's really cool. He's very work-oriented. He's never hit on me. I call him the sun. You want to just stand by him so you can catch rays. He's so amazing. And his like one-liners are like, he's awesome. I can't get enough of him. He's like mentor John.
And if there was anyone else besides him, who would you love to duet with? Who would be?
Everybody. Beyonce. I could stand on stage with her. I would love that. I could do it. Pretty much anybody. Because I like to, I'm like Ursula, except I don't steal voices, but I love just to like grab that energy and then throw it at the audience. So the bigger, the better. I love it.
So would you say she's like a mentor and hero, Beyonce, for you? Is she someone that you look up to?
Obsession. I just, you know, everyone has that person who they watch from the beginning of getting excited about something. And she was there with Destiny's Child, you know. And she looked like me, but she's a black woman killing it in a way that I'm like, oh my gosh, can I do that? Like, I could probably do that. Like, who needs musical theater when I can be like that? So, yeah, I've been watching her for a long time. And yeah, I would say that she's a mentor because she did it right. She did it all right. Like, I don't understand how we don't have, like, embarrassing footage of Beyonce. You know what I mean? Like, how do you do that? Like, your team, everything that you have working for you is, like, incredible. And she's a black woman killing this industry, married to a black rapper who's on top of everything. Like, yeah, That's a good road. I'll try that one.
Yeah, that's a good role model.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've been politically active as well, haven't you, through
I have.
your life? So who gave you that kind of political consciousness? Did that come from your parents, or were they politically active?
It honestly came from the lull. When you're a singer, dancer, actor, there's always going to be pockets of time where you're not doing anything.
Sure.
So instead of going crazy and trying to just like find my next gig and, you know, that anxiety that we all have, I just wanted to focus on something else, because it's okay not to have a gig. Others are coming. You don't have to go crazy trying to find them. So Kamala Harris was this new name, and I was like, that's a crazy name. Let's go follow her. So she was speaking at Brooklyn Bowl. Do you know Brooklyn Bowl?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So she was speaking there, and I just wanted to hear what she had to say. So I go to Brooklyn Bowl, and there's a DJ there, a very well-known DJ, and he's just playing music, but no one's really like paying attention to it, because everyone's like there to see Kamala, to hear Kamala speak. So I thought, I should be performing here and getting the crowd pumped up so that when she comes out, everyone's already like excited. Did you know the game?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm gonna pitch to her. I got nothing to lose, So it was one email, like, hi. And I remember my manager at the time, who I'm no longer with, but at the time, she came up to me and she said, well, what do I say to her? I go, tell her I'm a Black woman who's interested in working with her. That's it. It's one line. She answered it the next day, and I then was on her grassroots team. So I was with her all the time on her way up to becoming VP. I got to introduce her. So it was really amazing to be able to stand with her all the way up to VP status.
Amazing. So, because in Missouri, it's a Republican state, I think, isn't it? You've got a Republican governor and senator. Both of them are Republicans, aren't they? So
I assume so, yes.
Yeah, and the last time I think I looked, it's quite right wing.
Yeah.
So again, I don't want to labour too much on the point of kind of the experience of growing up there. You know, was there race issues when you were growing up in Missouri? Would you say that's
well,
fair
not
to
so
say?
much in my homeschooled household, but yes, there's only so much that your parents can, hide you from, and then what they need to not hide you from, because that's how the world works.
So they were trying to protect you from that world, you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But they can't, because
It's
the world is super
life.
racist.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had, there's no way to not have your fair share of that growing up, as kids. And they're just questions, but questions can hurt. And yes, we had to deal with that, and still dealing with that. But we were taught, keep going. Don't take everything to heart. Don't get so emotional about someone else's hate. And keep moving forward, because we're not the only people who experience hate. So keep going. So brush that off.
It's tough, isn't it, when you're losing opportunity because of how people feel about you. It's not a fair playing field. It's not a level playing field. And I think that's what we're trying to do now. Well, some people are trying to do. I mean, European experience is very different to the American experience. We all have issues and we all have stuff to fix, but is it true to say that America is more difficult in that respect?
I don't know if I could say more difficult, because I haven't spent that much time here, but I will say that for me, it was all about, if you say no, well, where's my yes? Because I know that I'm good enough to do this, so I know that I can get there, and I bet you I can find my way there, and I do. But of course, there's I didn't do Broadway because I'm like, there's no parts for me. All the parts that I can play, I'm not the type for it. So I just left it and went to do something else. Did that hurt? Yeah. But it wasn't a battle that I was willing to fight.
Do you think you would move over here to Europe for a while to sort of work rather than...
Every time I leave, I want to live here. But it's not because I'm running from being Black in America. I'm happy to be Black in America. I'm unstoppably Black in America. It doesn't scare me. But I just like it over here. Yeah. It's nice.
It's kind of, in the 50s in Paris, when all the Black jazz artists all came to Paris and that amazing scene, because they just loved the music so much.
Yeah. It's a different kind of embrace of music. I mean, we're very big business in America, and we're good at it. So we go straight to how do we make this happen, da-da-da-da-da-da. And we make that money, but I feel, within my experience of being in Italy, whenever I was singing there, it was just about having fun and then coming back to someone's house and they make you postage because they were so entertained by you. No one's getting paid.
Sure.
But it was the feeling and the real reason why there is music. So I would much rather experience that than, now I was about to say than make a lot of money. That's not true. I want to make a lot of money and have great experiences with music. I can put them together.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, fun question, like sort of what's the worst gig you've done and the best gig you've done?
It was when I was singing in New York and I had been a backup singer and I was very happy to do that. You can have a good time, it doesn't matter, you get paid, you're not the main focus. And I started dating a trumpet player and he just wouldn't leave me alone about how I should be at the front. And I'm like, stop ruining my vibe. I just want to like, I'm chilling, I'm having a good time. Singer's out there doing her thing, I don't need to do it. And he's just kept pushing me. So I'm like, fine. So he had an instrumental band called Juicebox. And he's like, why don't you just come and sing a few songs? So I went up there and I had, back in the day, so I had my lyrics, all the lyrics just like written out on like in a notebook, which was knocked over. So I had to think on my feet and I just started singing whatever came to my head. And the crowd loved it. And I couldn't believe it. It was like, aha, I think I found something here. And I've stayed in the front ever since then.
You found the emotional connection and you saw the emotional, because that's what it's all about really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Communication and emotionally connecting with an audience. But I think all singers or performers know that when they've nailed it, you know, it's sort of like, yeah, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a bit of a lightning bolt moment, and then you think...
And the confidence that they're not going to walk out. So, like, I couldn't believe that I had the room. I still sometimes can't believe I have the room. You're just, like, so happy that people want to stay and share your gift with you. It's awesome. But, yeah, it still gets really nerve-wracking for them.
That's why that was brilliant last night when you were performing, though. You know, the power of your voice live is just brilliant. I mean, it kind of has this resonance, but just the commitment was fabulous. You know, and I think I don't... you know, get sort of all regional about this, but Americans are very good at it when they just know how to knock it out of the park, you know, it's not only a vibe, it's professional, you know how to do it. It's like...
It's all about the build.
Yeah, it's like the crescendo, building it to that moment. But, you know, in every respect, how you move, how you build it, as you said, to that crescendo, but it was fantastic. And it was so much fun last night, I think, as well. Everybody
I had a
was
very
having
good time.
A brilliant time.
Yeah.
We're all a little tired today. It was a long night.
It was a very good night.
But that's what I love about dopeYEAH and, you know, the people here. It is like a big family, and you kind of come in, they take care of you, and it's what I like to call, I've said this before, like serious fun. We've got a job to do, but, you know, Peter and the team, they just love having an amazing time, and the love of music. It's all about the love of music. And I think with all the cynicism in the industry we're in, there's a kind of a purity about here in that respect. It's from the right place.
It's from the right place. Good vibes only. It's amazing.
Not cynical in any way.
And no egos.
And even a little innocent in some ways, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of got that innocence about it where people just, yeah, you know, we love this. It's great. Please come over and play.
I know, it's wonderful.
And, you know, you know, like you, when I first came, I kind of fell in love with the place. And they can't get rid of me now. So,
Same.
Where's he going to go?
I hear there are rooms here. Let's just move in.
He's still here.
I know. And here we're back again.
Exactly, you know. Well, listen, it's been amazing talking to you. So hopefully we're going to get you back soon to do a full show. And before we go, it would be amazing if you could just sing us a tune, and that would be amazing.
I think I can get one out.
And yeah, we'll hopefully see you in the coming months, and you and your band or the band here, and we'll have a fabulous time.
I love it. I'll be here.
Lisa.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Nice meeting you. This song is called Open Wide. It's off my album, Surrender.
Days are getting longer. Our nights just got stronger. Let's get away from here, anywhere but here.
We nailed that. Boom, ba-da, boom, ba-da, boom, ba-da, boom.